We're live.
Whoa.
Hello! That was such
Hello.
an exciting way to start the show.
Scared me a little.
Sorry.
I know, it gets you pumping.
Sorry about that.
I'm ready. Let's
know,
do
but-
it.
It's not as scary as whatever the hell is in Kratos' computer.
Going all.
I love his frowny face.
It's just such a good gag from Parks and Rec too.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I've seen it. It's such a great reaction GIF. You see it all the time. So welcome back to the FUNCAST, all the people watching or listening.
Hello.
This is episode 9, and it's sort of cheating because we just had episode 8 on Friday, and now we're having episode 9. So we're
sneaking
very
it out there.
close to episode 10, which is exciting because it will mean that we've passed the hump, maybe, and that we're now superstars. So expect the production quality of the show to
I'll expect the checks
skyrocket.
to start coming in.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna afford a screen behind me, maybe one as fancy as Burnouts.
Yeah.
This is a moving blanket. I got it from Harbor Freight for like $3.
It works really well.
Maybe I'll be able to afford one of those Elgato pop-up green screens when they finally restock on Canadian Amazon.
How do you hang that up, Burnout? Do you nail it to your ceiling?
Yes. You know those
We're learning
those
some
little
tricks.
drywall hooks that you just kind of like push in and screw?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And just some clips. Like,
and that's heavy, and that supports that. It's not that heavy.
yeah, it just hasn't fallen down yet.
Hasn't pulled the fist-sized chunk out of the ceiling yet.
How many drywall screws are you using?
Just one on each side. That's it.
Wow. Impressive. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Android. We didn't introduce ourselves last time because this is like assuming you know who we are at this point. I'm Android. I like to make games and talk about games. We're joined by our two favorite people, Discount Llama.
I'm touched. Hi. Discount
And-
Llama. Daniel, I play too many video games.
And
It's a
Burnout
problem.
Socia.
I don't play enough video games this week, but I'm making deals while we're live on the show. I just scored us some custom backing tracks for our pre-show stuff.
Pretty
Yay.
good.
Yeah, from
Look at
a
this.
DJ Cyanide, coworker of mine back at Razer.
Oh, that's
Nice.
sick. I was talking to my brother who he plays bass, and I'm a big fan of his stuff. And I was telling him he should make like a Seinfeld intro for us.
Oh, man. That's really what we're missing. I need a little sting like that when we transition from the music to the show.
Yeah.
I need a sitcom sting.
That's news, Jerry. News.
So I'm hoping he comes up with something. I told him to just, give me a 10-second clip of him messing around, and we could cut it to whatever.
That would be nice.
Cut it, reverse it. We'll have infinite music.
Video games.
So for video games, because we just had a show recently, we don't actually have a ton of news to talk about. But before we get to the news, we'll start with what we've played this week. And because this GIF is of God of War, I'm gonna start actually.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
So I've been continuing to play God of War, which continues to be a great game. I don't know what the reviews are of it now that 3 weeks have gone by. I remember it was like pretty highly well received at the time, but I have not followed up with what other people think of it. I've just been enjoying my time with it personally.
Hey man, that's what matters.
I know. I mean, I like I said the last Friday when I was watching the Yahtzee review, I totally understand his criticism, but like the game's just really pretty, and it's got this like slowness to it that I really appreciate. That I feel like God of War always had. God of War always had these like intense moments and these long traveling, like you'd navigate landscape moments and then fighting moments again. And this game continues that tradition.
The
It's
term
really fun.
is atmospheric.
Yeah, for sure.
Has there been any stereotypical God of War? Here's a naked woman in a bed.
No,
Stumbled
actually,
upon.
I think they're getting away from that.
He's
Kratos
getting
is
old for
faithful.
this shit.
One of my favorite jokes of the zero punctuation video is he's like, and the only decapitations now are consensual, because there's this guy you meet and he's trapped in a tree and he tells you to cut his head off so that you can revive him later. So it's this consensual decapitation.
Damn.
Pretty
And I
metal.
was like, that's so good. I know it is metal, but he asks you to do it, so it's like less metal.
They added the photo mode to that. Have you been messing around with that at all? Because I've seen some pretty rad screenshots from people.
I just saw the menu option when I went to quit, so I didn't mess around with it. I was like, oh shit, I forgot they added this, and it's right in the like right next to save. It's like save, load, photo mode, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
I spent too much time in like Hellblade messing around with their photo mode. It's like,
Does she smile goofily?
No, unfortunately.
She doesn't break the tone of the game.
You know, it's I guess it's like a similar thing where it's just like, man, there's so much stuff that's just like you need to take a really good look at, and like a normal game camera just never lets you do. So like more games need photo modes.
Yeah, I agree. I remember that. I don't know if it started, but it was always wicked. It was funny in GTA when you could take the selfies and you do that with your cell phone camera.
In Yakuza 6, you can take selfies.
Nice.
And you can edit Kiryu's expressions with the D-pad, and like none of them go very far because he's a very expressionless, stern man.
Right.
And like making him smile looks like it physically hurts. It's, you know, sometimes you just got to take a selfie of next to like a mascot.
I agree.
God of War, have you beaten it yet?
No, I haven't even gotten to the next. Well, I did do I did the second big boss, and then I keep doing side quests because unlike the other God of Wars, there's like legit side quests where it tells you go somewhere, and there's this whole little like thing, and they're kind of involved, which is really neat. They're not like go kill 10 specters. It's like, you know, go to this dungeon and explore it. And the dungeon's not part of the main story, and if you didn't do the side quest, you would
kill the
never
10 specters in the
kill the 10 specters of the dungeon. But yeah, you would never experience that dungeon otherwise because it's just not part of the main story. You would just avoid it. So I think it's really cool that they set up their side quests that way. So you get to feel like you're exploring a bit more. But they're very like handheld too. It's not, so it's like there's only like 3 characters in the game. And then there's 3 side quests so far. So it's like the one character you meet's just like, I have one mission for you.
But I mean, are they pretty hefty side quests?
That's what I mean, because it has a whole region or map associated with it, you know? So they are kind of hefty. But they're linear too, so I don't know, I like them. But they're not like, do it on your way to something. It's like, you're doing that. That's the thing you're doing right now. Like I just unlocked... you can go to different realms, and I just unlocked a new realm.
Oh, right, because it is north, so there's 9.
Yeah, exactly.
9 realms.
So it's like, just go to that realm, and then do whatever's in that realm. Like, that's the whole side quest. Like, I don't know, it's a whole realm. So I don't know how big that map could be, but it could be big.
Right. I imagine a lot of them aren't huge, just for sake of, like, not making it a 120-hour game.
Well, that was what's interesting, because when you first open up that you can go to different realms, I was like, oh shit, this game is huge! Like, it's blowing my mind! But, you know, it is a limited map. But the way they paint the picture is that all the realms are mirrored on top of each other, so they're all supposed to take up the same amount of space, but they really don't. Once you're there...
like Xenoblade.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess I just now have another giant city hub area.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not quite like that.
That'd be something cool though, because some of those Norse realms are messed up.
Yeah. They're going to unlock more stuff, I think, with DLC and future content. You know, like add more to the realms that you can go to, or add entire realms, because I don't think you can actually get to all the realms as of right now. I think 4 of them are
4 out of the 9.
Yeah. So you can go to all 5. You can go to 5 realms, which seems like a lot, but I don't.
Yeah, it leaves them 4 for DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
4 new ones anyway.
But the game's really cool. The combat's getting better the longer because the problem at the very beginning, especially when I was doing the difficult, is like the God of War is not fun if the combat takes too long. It's not satisfying. It just is tedious. And God of War is all about like brutality, and you're throwing an axe at someone and you want to see them explode. You don't want it to see like a tiny sliver of health, and you summon your axe and then throw it again, and then summon it and throw it again, and then do that like 10 times. That's not exciting. That's not, heart pumping action. That's that's like, what the fuck am I fighting? That you throw an axe at him 10 times and he's just standing there. So yeah, but once you get more powered up, it's like they do explode when you throw the axe at them, and so it feels a lot more exciting that way.
That's cool.
The other game I played was, I've been continuing to play Pillars of Eternity, and I sort of gave up on it.
Oh
yeah.
Where did I think I'm just gonna start over is what I'm gonna do.
Okay, that sounds very familiar.
I realized because the game throws a lot of characters at you, and controlling 6 characters is not fun for me. I've come to realize.
Got to turn on the AI.
I did.
Yeah,
and just they're not smart enough. Like the wizard does dumb things. Like you either tell them to use all their spells or not. But if they use all their spells, they become useless after one fight
because it's all per rest.
Yeah, and I hate that D&D magic system. So
both of these things fixed in Pillars of Eternity 2.
Oh, really? Good.
The AI is stupidly programmable.
Okay,
that, you can have different routines and different targeting parameters and whatever. Mostly I just use it to set all my auto attacks to aggressive, so I don't have to retarget.
Right.
And then tell everybody, hey, when you get to a quarter health, self-heal.
Right.
And then I micro it because I'm a lunatic. But if you want to, you could just if enemies at lower 25% health, use my execute ability priority highest or whatever.
I know.
And then also nothing is per rest anymore.
I was comparing it to the Dragon Age, Dragon Age 1, where you did the camera pull back and it was tactical mode. And now you're just making it sound even more like that, because that also had the flow chart of controlling the AI.
I downloaded that actually yesterday. Dragon Age.
Origins is a hell of a game.
It's a good game.
I wanted to try it again because I checked my playtime and I have 2 hours on it. And I was like, what made me quit that game? What was it about it? I don't remember.
I think I know. Just that opening can be very slow.
I got through the opening and it was shortly after.
I say which opening?
And then that
one had a different beginning.
Yeah.
I know. I did the wizard beginning and I didn't like it, and then I did the elf beginning.
I would say the beginning of that game is through the first castle area when you're becoming, was it a watcher? Become
a Jedi Knight or
become a Jedi
Warden or whatever they call it, a Spectre or
a Grey Warden.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Once you're done with that and you're off to the first town, I think that's when the game starts.
I'm gonna say, does the wizard opening make you go through the Fade? Remember that, the upside down world?
Maybe. I don't remember.
It's possible that might have driven you insane. There are entire mods that just remove that chunk of the game later on.
Yes, I don't remember that.
Part.
That sounds awful.
Oh, well, I guess you haven't played through the game, but eventually you go to the upside down and it's frustrating and it takes 8 hours. And
it's stupid. That's the only mod I run in that game is just skip that part. Skip that part of the game.
It's bad.
It's interesting to play through it once because the things you do in the Fade affect. It's like Inception. There's a top level with some intrigue going on between some people, and then you go into this shadow realm, and the things you do in there affect what's going on.
Yeah. It's cool to do once, but it also takes forever. And Dragon Age Origins is a game that really rewards you playing it with multiple different types of characters, storylines.
I mean, I got that a bit when I was interacting with the characters and building relationships the first time I played. It's just I feel like I remember the combat really holding me back. So I'm hoping...
I mean, it's CRPG combat.
Yeah, and in Pillars of Eternity, it's holding me back a bit too, just because I want a different play style than what I have set up. And so that's why I want to start over, and I want my main character to be either a rogue or a ranger, because I really want to do the stealth, set things up and have everyone else just auto attack, and then I can do my more tactical combat with less people.
Right. I mean, if you want
I
to,
don't want to be friends with everyone. Yeah.
You can also just not have the companion. You don't have to have a full party. You can leave them at the end.
I was wondering if that's useful.
Yeah.
At all. Because
I mean, if it's if you really wanted to, you could solo the game on the hardest difficulty. That's a thing you could do. It's totally something that's possible.
Is there
I saw an achievement
for all the companion stuff?
Their XP share or anything different?
There is. Yeah, you lose XP when you have more people.
Oh,
then I actually think one of the there's a character creation perk that's Lone Wolf. I think
there might be.
There was in Divinity.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one to run because I
is
also
in
don't like
Pillars
having
of
a bunch of
Eternity.
party members.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I might start over in Pillars of Eternity.
I did that a
try
bunch in
something
PoE before it kind of clicked, and I played 2/3 of the game, and then realized I ran out of time for the second game coming out.
else. Yeah, I'm just not gonna friend everyone this time because that definitely. I don't like the wizard at all. I don't
You don't
like
like Ayla?
wizards in that game. No, I don't. I'm not a big fan. And
He starts off kind of like bland and annoying at the same time.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think he gets kind of interesting because he has a messed up backstory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know, and he's more interesting in 2 because he's like moved past all that, and like when you meet him again, it's like, oh shit, you're here.
I guess it's because I have so many characters and they all have like immediate like needs and storytelling, and he's just like, I'm mysterious, and it's like I don't have time for your shit, man.
Yeah.
I
At
have
least,
this
like,
weird
I think there's,
priest
like-
that's judging me constantly.
There's like 3 characters I think whose like side quest story is literally just like come talk to. I'll talk to you eventually. And we'll progress this. It's just gated by the rest of the game's progression. I think Aloth, Durance, and somebody else are all just like, you'll finish this later in the game, kind of side quest stuff. So that's all right.
Speaking of side quest stuff, do you want to talk about Pillars of Eternity 2?
I do, because I'm in like a similar point where it's like, or semi-similar, where it's like I'm about 2/3 of the way through the game, and I can see that I'm on like the final progression towards the last quest. Like there's not a lot of side quests that I have undone. I'm probably about to pick one of the main factions to like champion through to the end of the game, and I kind of don't like any of the 4 factions.
The split that's at the end of every RPG.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh hey, the native tribes, they seem like the person I'd normally pick up, but their quest is like, yo, go blow up this gunpowder depot that one of the trading companies has and blame it on the other one and start a war. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
You're not into eco-terrorism?
I'm like,
That's the Fallout 4 problem.
I'm like, well, you guys were there. And then the other tribes are like, yeah, support the slavers. I'm like, about slavery.
Yeah, Fallout 4 was like, oh, you want to be friends with us? Okay, you have to kill the other 2, and you're
Don't
like,
get me started on Fallout 4. I quit my first playthrough because of that.
Because 2 of the characters or 3 of the characters you get are all aligned with are all aligned with different factions. And so it's like, I like both Pallegina, who is aligned with the Valiant Trading Company, and Maya, who's new, who is aligned with the Dreadfires. And I'm like, I like both of you, and your factions hate each other. So if I pick one, like, I'm gonna piss one of you off. I don't want to lose you because one of you is a really good ranger with a cool bird pet that you'd like talk to with the souls when you're doing a romance quest with Maya. Got to get the approval of the bird companion, which is pretty good. And then Pelagina's from PoE 1. She's awesome. She's a paladin. I'm like, I could use a paladin. So I don't
That's the other thing I was thinking about playing as. Try that out.
Paladins are cool because you get the like fire sword thing and it just does like 1 billion damage. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm seeing all this like towards the end of the game, and it's like, I really like this game and I don't want it to end, so I'm just not going to play it. Like we're going to take a break and come back. I'm going to, maybe try the start of the game with like different character classes that I haven't played as in order to like, see, like I don't have a rogue or like a real rogue. I have a guy that multi-classes rogue and barbarian. But like, I don't know, I don't use him as a rogue, right?
Can everyone multi-class, not just the main
everyone?
character?
Yeah, everyone can multi-class. All your companions, when you recruit them, you can solo or multi-class them.
Is that get confusing? Trying to
really
multi-class things.
Like, because like for whatever reason, you can only see the skill tree when you're leveling up.
Right.
Which is a dumb decision, but like you only ever see it when you're leveling up, so it kind of gets less confusing. But like, when you recruit Adir at the start of PoE 2, you can choose him to be straight fighter, straight rogue, or a swashbuckler, which is fighter rogue. And rogue actually has some pretty good tanking talents.
Like, in this one? That's cool.
Yeah. And also all of Rogue's to support multi-classing, they overhauled a bunch of these abilities, and it's like all of Rogue's abilities can also be used with a ranged weapon, so they're really good to like multi-class with a ranger or like a chanter.
Yeah, that'd be super
broken. Sit in the back and use a gun and like get damage bonuses that way.
Yeah, you can sneak attack with a bow, which is like stupid.
Yep. So. In in the new game I started, I'm a straight rogue. I'm an assassin, which means I do 25% more damage, but I take 25% more damage from everything. So it's basically like, okay, I'm gonna like stealth and combat, backstab this poor cave bat at the start of the game, and crit it for like 78 damage at level 1.
Oh, jeez.
Which is fantastic. But also there's like, oh, if you're within 2 meters and you attack from stealth, you get the assassinate bonus, and that works with guns from within 2 meters. So I have 2 blunderbusses, which are one-handed shotguns. That's cool.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, so it's like I'm at the end of PoE 2, and because I don't want it to end, I just kind of like stop playing it for a bit. I'll come back to it. Come back to the finishing that story up, because it is really.
You have so many other things you're playing.
I am I've been kind of making it my mission to finish Contra Hardcore on the Genesis, which is my roughed up cartridge. This is a good ass video game.
It looks really good. I really want to play it.
Yeah, I've talked about it before. It's crazy, and I love it. And it's less hard than like once you get used to the pace of the game, it becomes much less difficult because there's honestly in a lot of cases less shit happening than there is in like Contra on the NES because everything's so fast. They don't just throw the same density at you.
Most of the time it's way smaller.
This guy's half the size. Like there's attacks that normally you have to duck under that like this guy doesn't have to, which is
right. It's like mega sized.
Yeah. But one of the characters, Fang, he's a robot, or he's like a cyborg werewolf. He wears sunglasses and he has a gun arm. He's real cool, but so 2 of his 4 weapons suck, and he's also taller than everybody, so he even gets hit by stuff when he's ducking. So like, fuck Fang. But yeah, Contra Hardcore is a cool game. I got to the last level on one of the story paths because it has branching paths, and some of those you'll just never see. You don't choose them, which is crazy when you see how much work went into some of them. But I got to the last level of the main path and like almost beat the game, so that'll happen soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
I also played, just more Genesis games since I got fed up with that. I played some Aladdin on the Genesis, which is
I was just watching that. I was just watching that before we started. Aladdin on the Sega versus Aladdin on the SNES is such a cool moment in like weird gaming history.
And like duality. Amazing. It's the same with like The Lion King and Jurassic Park also have different versions.
Yes, the Jurassic Park
did the same thing.
Yeah.
In the Jurassic Park Genesis game, you can play as a raptor.
Yeah, you can play as the raptor.
I actually I ordered a new I was going to say this after, but I ordered a batch of new Genesis games as I do like every 3 months. And like I was thinking about getting Jurassic Park, but I was watching, I went and watched YouTube videos and was like, I remember kind of liking this game, but like watching YouTube videos, like I don't know about this one. I don't know if this is held up compared to like other action platformers. Like, playing as a Raptor School. But yeah, Aladdin's a cool game.
How far did you get?
I got to the Cave of Wonder. And the Cave of Wonder is some fucking bullshit.
Yep, it's the same in both versions of the game.
Like,
I think the Sega one's harder.
It is stupid. I went in there with like 9 lives and both continues and just lost it all. Like died like 15 times or whatever in this stupid cave. I hate it. There's a lot of platforming. And if you fall in the lava, you die. But you're getting chased by a rock and you got to jump. And a lot of the jumps are blind onto platforms that are twice the width of the character. And like you don't make the jump if you jump too early, and you jumped too early because the color of the path you're running on changed to match the orange of the background.
Oh my god. Gross.
So like you just don't see it the first time. So you fall into the lava and die, or you jump too early and you fall in the lava and die, or you jump at the right time, get hit by a bat or a rock, lose your momentum, fall in the lava and die.
Yeah, the stupid lava fireballs kept catching you mid-jump and just pulling you down.
Like there's a section where it's like you're jumping on platforms over lava and they're all blind jumps, and in between each one is a lava geyser. That sprays up, and you don't see the lava geyser until you're partway into the jump because it's off screen and you just die.
The Sega one doesn't have a normal Cave of Wonders, right? It's just lava. Is that right?
No, there's a previous level in the Cave of Wonders where there's a bunch of statues you got to break, and there are other statues that throw shit at you.
Okay.
And then the final boss is a teleporting statue that, like every other boss in the game, or the other 2 bosses I fought in the game, are just like hit him with the sword, he goes somewhere else, walk up, hit him with the sword, and you're never in danger.
There's a level that only exists in the SNES one. Is it the genie levels?
Maybe, I don't know. I've never
The
gotten
genie
past the Cave of
levels.
Wonders.
Yeah.
I do really like, I think the third level is you're in a weird jail.
Mhm.
Everything's purple, and the main enemies are like skeletons with bombs that just blow themselves up, and you get hit by bones and get hurt.
Hmm.
You know, just like in everyone's favorite Disney movie, Aladdin, where he fought skeletons in a jail.
With the bombs, yeah, I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah. It was all Abu's fault. Am I right?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this was like some Aladdin 2 shit that they were like, hey, remember we did this for the Genesis game? Let's pull that into our new
liked
made for
Aladdin too. Oh, the game? I don't know about that, but the movie was good.
Then I went and played another Contra like in The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which is based on the cartoon series. And that game is weirdly hard for a game based on a kid's cartoon.
You mean the 90s one too, right?
Yes.
90s cartoon.
Adventures of Batman.
Definitely not the Batman Forever game that I was thinking.
Which I was thinking about ordering, but it was $6, and I was like, I don't know if that's
Not
worth
worth $6.
I don't know if that's worth $6. Like, this game's cool. It's kind of like Contra. You throw batarangs, but like you have a health bar, which is great.
That Mark Hamill Joker.
The art is phenomenal. The graphics are great because this is like 1995. And
what
people were making good-looking Genesis games. Yeah, it's got really good perspective and like fake 3D stuff. There's a level where it's a side-scrolling shooter. You're flying above Gotham, and like the buildings parallax scroll, so like you're fighting between two like avenues. It's really cool. The sound is like it has a straight-up industrial soundtrack. That's really good. It's hard as shit. Especially because, kind of like Contra, if you lose your weapons, either because you die or like the weapon upgrade icon rotates between the 3 weapons, and blue is useless. So like if you pick that up, you're just fucked because it doesn't do any damage.
Yeah.
And like if you die, your weapon downgrades, and then you takes longer to kill things, which means you get hit more, which means you die more. And so like if you start screwing up, you
Death Spiral.
You get just Death Spiral. But like it's a really cool game.
Weird. It looks like Ninja Gaiden almost.
It kind of plays like Shinobi.
Yeah.
The perspectives actually reminded me of the Spider-Man game that was on Genesis. One where you do the climbing up the front of the
Maximum
building.
Spider? Or Maximum Carnage?
Maximum Carnage,
Maximum
yes.
Carnage.
I got that one on the red cart, and that second level we were climbing the walls is bullshit.
The red cart.
Looking at the angle of this building is just making me think of that.
Yeah.
My cousin had the SNES version of that Carnage.
I hope it's better.
I don't think it was. I think it was worse.
This
is
weird.
Back when games were made like in parallel for both systems. So weird.
Like Maximum Carnage is a weird game because it's like the first level is a pretty good beat 'em up, and like the Genesis version is kind of ugly because they didn't put the work in to like get more colors onto the palette at once.
Right.
But like then you play the second level, it's like, oh right, this is an LJN game, and bullshit.
LJN. Yeah.
Like we're playing Batman and Robin. I remembered it being very hard, but I guess because I played Contra, I had a really good run with it, and like
true.
As a kid, I never beat the first stage, which is like 3 levels, and like the third one, you're fighting on like a truck convoy on a highway, and like Joker Balloon is just like stomping around as the final boss. Then like it's like Two-Face, and you're fighting him on a ladder, on an elevator that keeps going up the whole level, and then at the top you're fighting Two-Face from an elevator or from a blimp above you, and he throws bombs, and then the elevator starts falling back down the level really quickly. Like it looks way better than it has any right to on the system. And then I got stuck in a Death Spiral on the third set of stages with the Mad Hatter, and like I just fucking gave up, even though I had continues left. Because fuck that game. Difficult. Then I relaxed with the true gem of the Sega Genesis, something that everybody should experience. Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures, the one true Pac-Man sequel. You can tell because it has a number in the title.
It's a numbered game in the Pac-Man series.
It is.
Pac-Man 2: Electric Boogaloo.
So it's basically an adventure game.
Oh my god, this looks awful.
But like, I think even the box says. Let me just.
The box says it's awful.
Because like,
do not play this game. It's bad.
This is one I actually had as a kid, so I still have the box. But like, yeah, actually straight up on the back, it says an interactive cartoon, because while you can play it like an adventure game, and for people who aren't watching the VODs, it's like you're looking in, it's like almost like a stage play. You're looking in at like a 2D world as Pac-Man will just do what he wants. Like he'll just wander around, and you're, as the player, you can like throw him a power pellet to like eat the ghosts when they show up. You can shoot your slingshot at stuff to get him to like notice or like interact with stuff, like knock apples off a tree, or get him to like jump for a bottle, or like slingshot him out of the way of stuff.
It's like, hey, you Pikachu.
I
kind of.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize that it's just you pointing at stuff.
And then direction and C is like you as the player going, look, and like making him look somewhere. And like if Pac-Man's upset or moody or like real angry, he won't listen to you. And
this looks terrible.
It's kind of bad, but like in a way, it's like kind of charming because like it's so bizarre. Like nobody makes games like this.
Yeah, they just don't make games like this
ever.
You know what I will say though is when you see games that are awful like this, and I actually watched a bit of this because it's a great speedrun game.
I can see why. Because like, the first objective is like, you gotta get milk for baby Pac, I think is the name of the character.
Baby Pac. Yeah.
And like, so it's like, okay, you just gotta like walk right to the farm and like figure out how to get Pac-Man to get the free bottle off a pedestal he's too short to reach.
He lives in a house shaped like himself.
The way you do that, by the way, is to piss off a crow that's on a clothesline with your slingshot, and it swings down and attacks Pac-Man and knocks the bottle off the pedestal.
Uh-huh.
And so if you ever want to torture Pac-Man, play Pac-Man 2, because you can fuck up Pac-Man.
Do I want to torture Pac-Man?
Drop rocks on him in a mine cart. You can have
Can't say I've got any beef with
tree.
Pac-Man.
Get him.
Oh, here's the crow.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. It's happening. Oh, it looks like you didn't figure it out.
Look. He's so happy. He's walking. He's whistling. He's having a good day.
He walks right by it. This is awful. This looks so frustrating.
Yeah, no, you gotta. Yeah, there's a reason it's called interactive cartoon. It's because
oh my God,
Pac-Man will do whatever he wants, and you just like kind of like Seaman almost. Like you gotta tap on the glass and be like,
Pikachu,
hello,
Pikachu.
Over here, dumbass. It's like kind of like herding cats, and there's adventure game stuff of like, okay, I see the solution. How do I get Pac-Man to see the solution?
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And so it's a lot of experimentation, like an adventure game. I kind of like it, just because it's weird.
His chicken, I don't understand.
I don't know. I shot the chicken coop open. Now the chicken's escaped, and he's like, "Oh no, the chicken's out. I gotta It's my fault. I gotta get the chicken back. The farmer will see." And then he runs into a tree, which knocks a beehive out, and bees come out, and bees attack Pac-Man. Like,
what are these animations? Oh my God.
Yeah, and all of Pac-Man's sprites and animations are amazing.
Oh, wow. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, now he's getting stung by bees.
And this is all just to get some milk.
I mean, and then I accidentally break the milk bottle.
Break the bottle and ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, which means you just got to leave off the screen and come back. Or like, he's all sulky and upset. And you got to drop the hay on the farmer, because otherwise the farmer gets mad and he chases Pac-Man off.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants Pac-Man.
The second stage is you got to go pick a flower.
Sort of an abomination.
Because Pac-Man Jr. Wants to give a flower to his crush. So you got to go to the top of a mountain and pick a flower. And that's real weird, because there's a hang gliding scene where you got to tell him to like hang glide through obstacles, and the ghosts are there with like pokers trying to poke you, and you got to slingshot the ghosts. And it's a bizarre game.
Would you say this is the Dark Souls of adventure games?
Get out.
I mean, completely wrong. But like, there are more adventure games that are just like permadeath, like you fucked up and there's literally zero way you could have figured out how you screwed up.
Oh my God.
Like, you used like King's Quest 6. I love that game, but there's like some stuff where it's like, you just fucked up. Like, sorry, I hope you have a recent save. Because now it's game over. As far as I can tell, Pac-Man 2 doesn't have a game over. So you can just kind of, like, you don't have to do the quest. You can like wander off into the city.
What was that walk that he did by?
Yeah, he's just real excited. The guy's real happy.
Oh my God! All right, let's move on.
One thing that's real cool though is you can find cartridges and play Miss Pac-Man or or an edited version of it called Pac Junior at the arcade if you want to.
No, that's kind of cool.
Which I think makes this like one of the only like good Miss Pac-Man releases on home consoles.
Slow down, Pac baby. Slow down, Pac baby.
This is where this is the game I pulled that Pac-Man thumbs up emote on Discord from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I see it now. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the evil witch, my favorite character from
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
and she hates those ghosts when they screw up.
Yeah.
Zaps them into non-existence.
What's
I ordered
what's her name? Rita Repulsa?
Oh, from Power Rangers? Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I ordered a bunch. I actually ordered one of the games in the batch I ordered was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, which is the game I thought I ordered
Yes.
at the time.
That one's
The one
really
that's
good.
not the fighting game.
Yeah, the one that's not the Game Gear fighting game, the 2 buttons.
I think that one is the one that's the same on the SNES.
Yeah, it's like a
Yes.
side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah.
It's the one I
That-
thought I was
yeah.
ordering, but
The first one of that on the SNES I own, and I love that game.
I also ordered a Wolverine Adamantium Rage, which is pretty good.
Power Rangers, the movie, the game.
Yeah. I also ordered a game I'd never heard of, but looks like weird isometric Legend of Zelda on the Genesis called Light Crusader. And like,
Oh, this is
Never
the
heard.
same one as the SNES one.
Oh,
It's all
the
the same
Power Rangers?
animations and everything. Yeah, it was-
that's kind of surprising that it's
the levels are all
Send it
different. And there's like more characters, but like the animations are all the same. Huh. Cool.
I also
Very
ordered
cool.
a copy of Phantom 2040, which is
Oh yeah, that game's supposed to be good.
the games I remember liking it a bunch as a kid. That cartoon was real cool. It was part of the like 90s, hey, let's revive 30s pulp superheroes
Yeah,
for
yeah,
some
yeah.
reason. Like you got Dick Tracy, you got the Phantom, you had the Spectre. I think the Spectre movie, it was played by a dude who went on to be in Titanic, and like Phantom in the Phantom movies played by Alec Baldwin in that movie.
Yeah, remember, just note that Phantom movie is horrible.
Yes. And the
Woo.
Spectre, but like it was weird growing up in the 90s because like I remember I had a Dick Tracy storybook with like a story tape.
The Phantom's played by Billy Zane.
Yeah, that's it. Billy Zane. He would go. He was.
Oh, I do remember that movie actually.
This movie got him
Yeah.
the role he was in Titanic.
Yep.
Oh man,
Oh my god.
it's a,
That
yeah.
movie-
That whole weird pulp hero revival thing was awesome. Played Fallout 4 and you did the awesome Silver Spectre quest lines. You know exactly what a pulp hero is.
Yes.
I started that, but I didn't do it.
Oh, that's
But,
like
Oh, those
one
are
of the only
so
good quest lines in that game.
Mhm.
but we should move on to Burnout. What have you? I know you haven't played much, but is there anything you would like to talk about for games?
I was gone all weekend in LA, going to a rock festival and hanging out and
What a
doing LA
weirdo.
things.
Being social over here.
And
Why do that when you can play Phantom 2040 or Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures?
Why do anything if you could play Pac-Man 2?
I
You know what?
mean-
This podcast is over. We should all be
It's an
playing.
interactive cartoon. What else do you need? Perfect media.
Yeah.
it just looks so bad.
Go
Now,
on,
actually,
I'm
looking
sorry.
at all your Genesis games, I do kind of want to make a competing stream where I bust out the old SNES and play through my childhood games.
See, I want to kind of get a
Yeah.
SNES Classic now and just
know,
like
stream it.
hack it and load it up with like a million games because I never owned a Super Nintendo and like I've seen so much stuff about the Link to the Past randomizer recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, shit, this looks really good, and I like watching speedruns of this, but the only 2D Zelda or top-down Zelda I ever really played was Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. So like I've never played a Link to the Past.
Well,
Oh, it's
you
good.
should play through it once normally because it's a real good ass game. And then when you really
Yeah.
want to keep playing it, then you randomize it so
Yeah.
it's still fresh.
Oh, I forgot about the randomizer.
Yeah, the randomizer looks cool as hell.
The
Like
randomizer
Giant
runs-
Bomb, Giant Bomb just started a series where Dan's playing through it with a randomizer. And like for them, they have it set on
Yeah.
easy. So like the first item he got out of a chest instead of the lantern was the Master Sword.
That's
And like that's
awesome.
cool.
That's cool.
But then, and so it becomes with the randomizer, it becomes a game of like I don't remember, like I remember how to play this game normally, but it's like now that I'm playing it out of sequence, it's like okay, where can I go with the stuff I have, right? Like,
Right.
what's available, and like that changes every run because obviously it's random. And so like for the Giant Bomb stream, they're like an hour and a half in. They have like all the swords, all the tunics, and a bunch of rupees, but they don't have the lantern or the
like the
bow
hook shot
or the hook
anything,
shot.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
and they only just got the gloves and like the mirror and the pearl that lets you not be a rabbit in the dark world.
Makes it real hard is getting the flippers too, because those could be anywhere.
He went to pay 500 rupees to Zora and got a heart piece.
Yeah.
Instead of the flippers.
It's best when you get the 10 rupees back. And you're like,
so that seems like a really cool thing. So maybe
that's another highly recommended speed run is Zelda randomizer races.
Yes, they did one at
because 2 or 4 people go in, they have no idea what the like item sequence is, and they all have different routes, and the routes change completely depending on what the items are.
And like your knowledge of the game, and like what are the easy chests? What are the chests that I can get now that I have? What are the items I can get now that I have a shovel? What can I get now that I have the hammer and the gloves and a bow? Right? Like, can I do any of these dungeons? Can I beat this boss? Like, it seems rad.
Yeah, it's wicked cool.
And I
want to
probably play Link to the Past so that I could appreciate it.
But Berna, you were gonna talk about something else.
Because this is one of those games that I've played like to completion 4 or 5 times in my life now, so it's about time I do a randomizer run.
Right.
You should.
The only thing I really played in the last 3 days since the last time we had a podcast was a little bit of Final Fantasy 14.
Nice.
But nobody wants to hear about that.
Oh, I like Well, how far did you get? Because I know you're still playing Heavensward, so where did you end up?
We just defeated Nidhogg in the story, and I met Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Yes, so you've gotten really far in the story, because that's patch 3.
Yeah.
That's the final part of the Dragon Song War.
That fight's so
before they
fucking
start bridging.
cool.
That fight's my favorite fight from the game.
My god.
From that whole thing, I think. Just
what's
thematically.
the Sky Whale's name? I like that one too.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I forget his name, but that's a cool fight and that's a cool story. And
yeah, I just did the normal
Bismarck.
mode story dungeon.
Yeah, Bismarck.
I do not like the Bismarck fight, actually, because you play it with enough random people who are so bad at it that you never want to do it again. It's like, all right, I'm to fire the hooks. And you're like, yes, healers, please. While we fight the ads, healers, go to the hooks. And the healers are like, I fell off somehow. And you're like, oh my god. And then you miss the opportunity, and then you just time out the fight, you die. It's like the worst
I did tank
thing.
At like I forget what to say, the 1000, or not the Moz, the one that's like has the stone faces and the bees that instant kill the tank.
Yes.
Temple
It's not
Card?
Totorak.
I think it's Totorak, isn't it? Anyway, I tanked that, and I'm just like, oh right, these bees can instant kill. I should remember to stun them. And so like I stun a bee, and like, so apparently the bees don't instant kill the tank anymore. They just do a fuck ton of damage because like level scaling and whatever.
You are thinking of Karn. I'm sorry, it's Temple of Karn. You were right. No.
So, but then I forgot about how the first boss casts Doom.
No, you are right.
I forget about that every time I go into that dungeon.
And died the first time, and I was like, oh, right. Instant kill mechanics.
No one knows how Doom works. You just need to be at full health, and Doom goes away. But no one knows that.
No, on that first boss, when you get the debuff, you have to run to one of the glowing panels on the floor.
You gotta rub your Doom off on a panel.
Oh, okay.
And then that fight
might
also
be able to heal it off.
That fight also spawns bees that can instant kill the tank. So it was weird because like there's 2 level 30 dungeons in that game that just like all of a sudden it's like, hey, your gear matters.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you, Burnout, to get into Stormblood stuff.
I hate Stormblood. The Heavensward's where it's at, man. Savor it forever.
I've been looking forward to Storm. Oh man,
there are so many good dungeons.
Yeah, but there's all the best characters are in Heavensward. Everything Hraesvelgar says, the whole thing with him and Lady Iceheart, how she's like, I want to be Lady Shiva, and he's like, you will never be Shiva. You are just a failure of a human. And she's like, my feelings. Like, that whole scene's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nidhogg being like, I hate everyone forever, and you know,
tear out his eye.
Yep.
Yeah, and Estinian's
throw
like,
it off a cliff.
Estinian's like, I can't contain it anymore. And then Thornton and the Knights of the Round. I mean, how fucking cool was that Thornton fight?
Yeah, that was one of the last dungeons we just did. Was the vault where we're like fighting the knights.
Yeah, the Knights of the Round.
Or am I thinking of something else?
how did you fight Nidhogg? Did you skip Thornton somehow at the final story? Is that possible?
I don't know, maybe.
Thornton, you do the what's the name of that aethochemical dungeon?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember what else. Oh.
The aetherochemical research facility, the final fight, the final dungeon, and then you have to fight La Brea, and he's so fucking obnoxious.
No, I don't think I'm up to there yet.
Weird specter, and it's in Az's Law.
No, we defeated Nidhogg the first time in the area.
You fought first Nidhogg.
First Nidhogg. That's
shit. Oh no, I spoiled everything. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for that. I forgot.
No, it's fine because there's all kinds of like weird, vague cinematics after that. He's not. I got it. Don't worry, it's fine.
All right, so you fight Nidhogg once.
Did you at least see the eyeball get chucked off a cliff? Because I really like that.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly where you are now. I jumped way ahead.
Yeah, we defeated Nidhogg the first time, and I was like, he's totally not dead.
That dungeon existed. Yeah, he's not, because he's such an important character.
Yeah, I was like, how could he be dead?
Like,
he's
weird
the whole
5-man.
Yeah,
you're actually really far.
You sink into like the dragon trial or whatever.
Az's Law is one of the coolest maps, and you're getting close to that because right now you're still in the churning mist, I think it's called.
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah, that was the last thing we did. We did that. He's got both of Nidhogg's eyes now, and then I went back to the town and I met Bayonetta, and she's the coolest character I've met so far.
Bayonetta. Yeah.
She's got the black hair and the guns.
Yeah.
That's pretty much who she is.
And then
my favorite character is still
I started leveling Machinist.
My favorite character is still S.T.A.L.K.E.R. I think in the entire game. He's just a giant, ancient, sad dragon. He's awesome.
Heavensward's great and all, but Stormblood doesn't have Doma Castle or it's great music. So
that's true. But it has...
Or it's really cool primal fights with the, like, fucking giant sword you catch as a tank. And
I want you to at least do the Fractal Continuum, because it's my favorite dungeon music in the game. And that's one of the last side dungeons of Heavensward.
I think that one has its music drop, so we can add that to our house.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. Fractal Continuum music is so good. All right. Anyway, sorry. So I totally rambled on about FF14.
No, that's fine.
Game.
That's
please keep playing Heavensward. It's really, really, really good, and it just gets better from where you are.
I'm still playing it. I'm just savoring my time with it, and I only bring it up every week so that you guys can rant about it too.
I forget. So the fight you have in the video, this is second Nidhogg, and that's why I got real confused.
Yes.
This fight's incredible. This one particularly, it's so good. The extreme version particularly is like really good just because it's very hard and I like it a lot. Anyways, so let's move on to news. The news portion. Now that we've rambled on for an hour. Actually, that's pretty good. That's on time.
That's surprising. Time. That's why I went along with the Genesis stuff. You know, I know how to stretch.
Yeah.
surprising amount of news for 3 days. And considering there was a weekend in the middle of it.
A lot of stuff happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Three articles a day. Damn.
So like
so yeah, Discount, you can go first because
so all or like most of last week Bethesda's Twitter was like tweeting hints about Rage coming, Rage 2. Especially since there's that Walmart Canada leak that listed Rage 2 and they replied real sarcastically to it on Twitter, which was real good.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they officially announced Rage 2 with like an announcement trailer yesterday and a gameplay trailer earlier today. It's in part developed by id and in part developed by Avalanche Studios, the guys made the Mad Max.
Wait, id is involved still?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize id was still involved.
Yep.
Cool.
And this is the Avalanche that made Just Cause 2. And then went and made Mad Max. And so this leans a lot more into like the goofy punk rock aesthetic of like a Borderlands or a Mad Max rather than the very serious Rage story. And it looks fun. The gameplay that's actually in the trailer looks awesome because it looks like Doom but way faster and in an open world, and like your character's like throwing like shot grenades at your feet to get a bounce, and some of it looks like Bulletstorm because you're like juggling dudes with bullets.
That's what I was thinking, Bulletstorm.
So I never played the first game, but I've loved everything that Bethesda /id and Avalanche have been putting out recently. And this just looks like if you took the team that's been making Wolfenstein or Doom and told them to make Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
It looks great.
And, like, a lot of it, like the game, like the first person stuff, like you can tell it's like, oh yeah, this is id, or like the id that made Doom, because like it has the same sort of like weight but like really controllable mobility to it.
Then the vehicle sections really remind me of the Mad Max game that came out. That was a good ass game.
Frothy loved that game. I watched him play it a bunch.
Yeah, and then this just like this looks huge and crazy, and I'm kind of surprised they're calling it Rage 2, because I don't know how many people actually would care if they just called it Rage.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Prey.
So much gameplay. Really surprised. It must be much further along in development than
I mean, Bethesda in the last few years doesn't announce games unless it's coming out this year. So I'm imagining this is like a September or November like release.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why Elder Scrolls 6 will never be announced? It'll just show up one day.
I mean, they announced they announced Skyrim a little early, but then like starting when they announced Fallout 4, it was like from now on, all the games we talk about at like E3 or whatever are coming out this same fiscal year.
That Fallout 4 though, announcing it in June and then releasing at the beginning of October.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is weird to me because like Bethesda was like,
I forgot about that. That was cool.
On Twitter was like, this is going to be one of our longest E3 conferences that we've ever done, and like they're already announcing Rage 2, and like
Elder Scrolls.
What else?
They already announced it, didn't they? What the next zone's gonna be? I already forgot now.
No, I don't think I heard that.
I don't think they have.
Maybe there was a rumor about it because they're just running out of areas.
Like I know Bethesda, like the Skyrim team, the Elder Scrolls team, was working on like that space game. I'm forgetting the names of.
Skyrim. Space Rim.
Space Rim.
Basically. But
Rim
like this, and like what, like if you're making this one of your longest press conferences ever, it can't all be just Prey 2 and like Elder Scrolls Online, can it? What else are you announcing or talking about?
Would Bethesda even talk about Elder Scrolls Online? I thought that was like entirely in ZeniMax's hands.
They do.
It is entirely
last
in
year.
ZeniMax.
I think they brought it up.
I think they did though, because they announced the Elder Scrolls expansion last year.
Yeah. And I think like in terms of market space, it's there to fill time before Elder Scrolls 6 is ready.
It is in ZeniMax's hands, but ZeniMax owns Bethesda, so ZeniMax, probably owns the Bethesda conference. They can probably tell them to say whatever they want.
I don't know, like how much else can be here? Like, is that Prey standalone DLC really gonna like warrant press conference time?
I don't know. It always feels silly that Bethesda has their own conference.
Yeah,
I thought so. I was talking about that the other day, where it was like the big consoles and then Bethesda.
Yeah,
and
then only one, and like the big publisher in EA, and then like like Activision doesn't have its own fucking concert.
Yeah, Activision's not there. Konami.
Well, Activision doesn't, because they merged with Blizzard and they have BlizzCon.
Right. That's what I was thinking actually when I realized Activision wasn't.
And then Activision, their E3 stuff is like either the Titanfall or the Call of Duty, or that Titanfall EA, but it's Call of Duty.
But like Sega doesn't have a thing.
No, Sega just
they make a lot of crap. They make a lot of random shit.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of IPs. I think actually Sega probably does a lot of games.
They've made a lot of stuff over the last 35 years.
Speaking of Sega, so coming back to store shelves is the NES Classic.
That has nothing to do with Sega. That was a terrible segue. That was a terrible
Sega. When are you
segue.
announcing a Master System Mini?
I've been They announced that, didn't they? Didn't we talk about it?
They announced
that was Neo Geo.
The Genesis.
Yeah,
like a Genesis one that was for.
I remember talking about the Atari one, and I remember talking the Neo Geo one last week. Did they
No,
announce the Genesis?
I think like 2 weeks ago or like 3 weeks ago they announced. Like,
the Sega Genesis Mini.
Sega Genesis Mini.
April 14th.
But it's made by the same company that does all the terrible Genesis Minis that you can already buy that have like 60 games built in, and they're all terrible with bad emulation.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so this one just looks like a little Mega Drive, but.
Yeah, because Sega just doesn't put enough effort into it, I guess.
Like,
I don't know.
The company whose name I'm forgetting put out a tweet, was like, no, look, we fixed it. Trust us when you see it. I'll see, well, believe. Like, it's a crime to emulate like Sonic 2 or 3 and have the emulation be bad enough that the music doesn't work properly.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than skipping music that game.
And like garbled like no. And you're Sega, you're giving this company stage time. What are you doing? Yeah, the NES Classic is coming back after Nintendo.
It's a solid product.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because I feel like this is really going to screw with investors because a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's such a limited item," and that's what made people buy it. And then they're just like,
it was like a weird limited item that like 3 months after it coming out, Nintendo was like, "We're not making it."
Yeah. then they do. So I don't know.
Maybe there's just enough interest that they're just gonna do another wave of it. I'm sure it's not here to stay.
I don't know. They say it'll have availability through the end of the year. So
Yeah,
like that's longer than it was available last time.
I would definitely like the chance to get one because,
like, I know for you guys in the States, the SNES Classic is still pretty available.
Yeah. Oh, the SNES Classic.
Yeah,
it's
SNES.
kind of, sort of. It's probably not in a store.
Here in Canada, it's hard to find online for close to MSRP. I think it's like 135 online, but like you can still find it in stores occasionally.
That's crazy
for MSRP. But
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really pay attention because I got both these systems on day one because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, the SNES Classic one was really hard for me. I spent a lot of time and energy trying to get 2 of them, and I did, but it was hard.
Like I was kind of interested in the NES Classic because I had that as like a small child. It was a hand me down from my cousin, and like I was looking at the list of games, like all right, there's like 4 games on here I'd play more than 5 minutes of, and then it just immediately vanished from availability, and I never thought of it again. The SNES Classic is like shit. I never played like almost none of these games. Like I didn't own a Super Nintendo, so I never got to like sit down and play through Link to the Past or Super Metroid.
The Super Nintendo one is such good value. There are like thousands of hours worth of games on there. There's like a bunch of RPGs. You get Final Fantasy VI, you get Mario RPG, you get Earthbound. Then you get the big open adventure games like Metroid and Zelda and stuff. Oh, it's just...
You get Donkey Kong Country.
Just the first one.
Just the first one. Yeah, not the best one.
And then I'd probably just do the thing where like you'd flash it and like load it with games anyway.
What for me, what it's all about, why I really wanted the SNES Classic and what I want the NES Classic for is it's like a perfect condensed way to like memorialize the SNES. So like you put it in a box, you put it away, and then 20 years later, 40 years later, you pull out a box, it still has an HDMI cable, you hook it right into,
I mean, that's how I ended up
virtual TV.
I mean, I did the same thing with my Genesis. I found it in a box 20 years later, plugged it into my TV through RF, and was like, this is terrible. How do I get HDMI out of this? And spent $300 on cables and an upscaler. And now my Genesis is HDMI.
You're assuming in 30 years we're still going to be on HDMI? We're going to be on ZQ star symbol by then.
It'll finally be on DisplayPort. Everything will
everything will just finally be DisplayPort.
Or no, it'll be like USB F or something.
We're like slowly venturing into future memes here.
Or Firewire will make a comeback.
The only connection in the future is Firewire. Anyway, so the NES Classic's coming back, which is pretty cool. I hope
it starts. What's the release date availability? They're saying is for June 29th.
Yeah,
it'll be in stores again.
Added value: the controllers use the same port that's on the bottom of the Wii controllers, so you can use legit ass Nintendo or Super Nintendo controllers to play other games on the Wii or Wii U.
Ooh,
that's kind of cool. Good to know.
And I imagine there's a way to get that to USB to a computer.
Oh yeah, probably, definitely.
The next news story we have is related to the controllers. But I don't have. So who wants to share this one?
I believe Discount pulls this one up.
Yeah, I pulled this one out because this is super cool. So one of the things, there were a couple controller rumors surrounding Xbox controllers, and it was like a redesign or a SKU of the Elite. And then there was like some like rumors of like something else controller wise. Like sure it was. Well, according to leaks, and hopefully this is true, is that Microsoft is working on an Xbox controller designed for accessibility for people who have physical disabilities. And like this thing looks like the smartest idea in the world for such a tiny but like super underserved part of the market. And like obviously not something I'm going to buy, but for the people that like need a controller that like because of disability don't have like physical dexterity to use like thumbsticks and triggers. This like lays it out. They're giant like track pads.
I would say to describe this
like
thing,
also buttons, and
it looks like a big board that you just set on the table, and it has two giant circular, what I assume are trackpads.
Yeah, they look like they're touch trackpads that would, I guess, emulate the thumbsticks, and they're, I think, pushable or programmable for different buttons or like movement combinations, kind of like on a Steam controller, like a chord on a Steam controller. Like, yeah, like this is super cool I hope it's real, because this is a real cool thing to see like a big company like Microsoft spends R&D time to market and develop a controller for a very small percentage of the market that like desperately needs this type of first party solution.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's, like you said, this is definitely an open space for people to enter. Like there's not a lot of competition for this right now. And there has been a growing movement ever since I went to PAX East like 4 or 5 years ago. The Able Gamers has always been there. And I always stop by Able Gamers because I have one of my favorite shirts of all time I got from them. And so ever since then, I didn't even know they ever had these shirts. I just gave them $5 or $20. And I got this shirt and I was like, oh my God, this shirt's awesome. And so then I learned a lot about their cause because I loved that shirt. And then every year at PAX East, they have this card reader, like a credit card reader, and you can just go up and swipe your card and just auto donates money. So I just do that, which is pretty neat.
That's cool.
But yeah, so it's really neat to see, because they have a lot of stuff where people engineer games for for disabled people,
there are lots of like weird, like kind of like hacked together
exactly
controllers, and I've seen a couple. I think like Linus Tech Tips has a review of one of like a keyboard for accessibility that like it's like 2 discs.
Oh yeah, the one
like,
where the
rotate to
they're like
slide to
giant
type
sliding joysticks basically, and you have to like push to
and like obviously for like enabled gamer that's like not useful, but like for somebody that doesn't have fine finger dexterity, it's like please somebody make something. Because
did you see there was that guy that like beat Diablo 3 entirely without, like, he had just like a blow mouth controller that you control like by blowing into it, and you like played the entirety of Diablo 3 with that. But that's
actually, speaking of Able Gamers, I just looked him up because I want to give him a shout out to his Twitter account. Able Gamers sponsored a fighting game player named Brawly Legs, which is really cool, and he plays I forget his exact condition, but he plays competitive fighting games using a controller like wedged up against his face with his.
Oh, I just saw that article. Yeah, on their website. That looked cool. That looked interesting.
Brawly Legs is like really freakishly good at fighting games. Like he's really good. And more accessibility options. People need them.
Yeah, and definitely to make it more mainstream, makes it more accepted, makes it more cool. So very awesome.
Good all around.
Next story is,
speaking of things that are sort of good all around.
An alternate Superhot will feature levels inspired by Japan. What does that mean?
It's like, hey, we're another company called Game Tomo that are like working with while the Superhot devs are doing whatever they're doing. We're making like, it sounds like a Superhot level pack where the levels are set in Japan. It's like not a sequel, but they say it'll be like an alternate story campaign. So like, I don't know why this needs to exist.
I don't understand either. That is really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. And like they're saying it'll release first in Japan, which is like, okay, guys, it's Superhot. I don't know if you need to pander.
Yeah. But I mean,
it's like cool it'll be samurai castles and karaoke bars
and alleyways.
It's like,
good game. Okay. I'll take more levels for it.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I have not played it.
I really like Superhot. I just wish it was longer than like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so more levels is a good thing.
Yeah, because the game was like $20 or something on release in Canada, and I was like, I beat the whole game, played some of the survival mode, and refunded it because I was still under the 2-hour limit.
Oh, yeah,
I like the game. It just I was not paying that much money for an hour and a half of gameplay.
I got it for free from Twitch Prime or something.
Yeah, now it's But like I think when it released, like the launch price in Canada was like $20 or something instead of like 12. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Regular Superhot is currently $34.99 on Steam
What?
in Canada.
Oh my god, that's expensive.
Yeah, Superhot VR $28.
Jesus Christ. That is bizarre.
Yeah.
That
And I
is
guess they're
a
still
shame.
the Superhot guys are still working on their weird like adventure like roguelike Superhot, but I don't think that's actually seen any updates in a while. Mind
I like-
control delete.
I like the idea of their VR one. I've heard that's pretty good.
I heard the VR is really cool. But...
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay and it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, just you have to own VR.
And
Yeah.
Play it.
not only that, but you also have to have the space for it. I don't have space to set up a holodeck in my tiny, like,
Yeah.
100 square foot apartment.
God, I wish.
Yeah.
I actually like measured out because like I saw like the initial VR specs. It's like, oh, my 970, my processor can like run VR according to like Valve. But like so like I got out a measuring tape and like measured out the space, and like if I wanted to do this, I'd have to move my computer into our main hallway. So that's like the only space that gets like in my house that gets like the open 12.5 feet or whatever for maximum play space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that seems a little impractical. Put this in our foyer.
Speaking of impractical, unfortunately for Cliffy B, longtime famous lead designer of Gears of War.
Famous?
Well, Gears of War was famous, and he was associated
Infamous,
with it.
maybe.
Yeah,
Better
He's a
term.
guy. People know his
Yeah.
name.
Cliffy B. Well, he went on to start his own studio after leaving Epic, and was like, "Yeah, I'll make a game, and it's gonna be so great, you'll see." So he made a
He
game
made
called
the-
Lawbreakers.
Yeah, the super hot Lawbreakers.
And I don't know anyone that actually played it. Maybe someone did
The people
somewhere.
who did play it said it was real good, but just nobody played it.
It
I
competed.
heard it was like cool in like the beta was cool, but like not enough to like spend money on, you know?
Yeah.
And so then he went on to make a game called Radical Heights. So first Lawbreakers comes out, which is to compete directly against Overwatch.
Well, similarly, it felt more like Low or like grab Quake with different
that's probably-
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
like
it's a similar
at the worst
lineage.
time.
Similar,
And like
and also similar player base. I guess it's not the same genre directly, but it's
because it
competing-
came out at
they're
the
a
height.
multiplayer shooter.
It came out at the height of the Overwatch clones, like Paladins or
Paladins.
or whatever all that shit was. And then Lawbreaker comes out, and people are like, "Can people stop with the Overwatch clones?" So it was like directly competing in that space, even though it had nothing to
Aw.
do with that gameplay.
They
And, like,
went and they
again, like I
Titanfalled
heard the beta
themselves.
sounded
Yeah.
sounded cool, but like it wasn't like I gotta just go buy another game to play this. But
And then he was like, "Oh well, Overwatch may have won this round, but this time we'll take on an easier target." PUBG.
yeah, they just kind of came out of nowhere and released their own battle royale game.
yeah, they like right at the height of Fortnite.
Surprise!
Yeah, you know who we can knock down off of their high horse? Fortnite.
Thanos.
Yeah, easy.
The #1 game in the world right now. Yeah, we'll
The
just.
cultural touchdown of Fortnite.
To be fair,
Oh my
it was a
God.
stupid idea to release a battle royale game against Fortnite, but the game they made kind of a little bit fun. It just
Yeah, it seems like it had potential. It just like it released into early access with like whale targeting microtransactions, while some of the
Yeah.
buildings didn't have textures yet. Like early access.
Super alpha. Sorry, they
Yeah.
called it extreme early access with 3 X's.
Jesus.
But the whole idea of the game show thing with the announcer
it seemed
and
cool. I think
BMX
we talked
bikes
about
and
it
shit.
before.
Yeah, I played a little
Yeah.
bit of it. And I talked about it like on the first or second podcast.
But now
Yes.
Bosky's Productions, no more. Cliffy B is withdrawing temporarily, probably. from-
That game sunk the company and put Cliff Blinsky into a hole where maybe we'll see him
yeah, now
someday.
he's gonna go like family.
I'm
and,
sure
like,
he'll come back.
show up again. He's
Uh,
too
if
much of
you
a
go to
designer
his,
to not show up.
If you go to his Twitter, literally right now, he's posted like 100 tweets of random shit over the past 24 hours. I'm actually
He's so bored.
That's actually
just
just
gonna read
normal
it.
Twitter behavior for Cliffy B.
oh my god, what is all this? It's just like he brain dumped a bunch of crap because
no,
had
he
no
does that
idea.
once in a while. It's
Oh my God.
he's an interesting person to follow on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess so. He just started releasing all this art from games they never made.
Yeah,
That's cool.
like, yeah, it's cool.
Huh. Well, poor Cliffy B. He flew
Yeah,
too
like,
close to the sun,
That's a tough break.
and his wings melted.
But I mean, I
Totally.
will say this: SteamCharts.com. We have Lawbreakers at 3 people 30 minutes ago playing
Oh,
it.
that's a record high.
Oh my
25
Lord.
people as a 24-hour peak, and an all-time peak of 7,400.
Look, I believe that it isn't a bad game. It just came out at a really bad time with no
I
marketing.
really think it came out at a really bad time.
I really think
Yeah,
that they Titanfalled themselves, and I fucking love Titanfall, but somebody decided to release it right between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because EA's fucking weird, and they were like,
That's right.
"Well,
I forgot Titanfall did that too, and I
And now
remember when
EA
that game
has,
was
like-
like a thing, and then it just disappeared, vanished entirely.
And now EA has like assumed full ownership of Respawn, and they're just gonna be like, "Yo, let's actually like first party the shit out of this game." So
Mhm.
E3 will be interesting.
Titanfall 3.
Yeah,
I hope.
Titanfall 3, Elder Scrolls 6, Let's do it.
Battlefield,
Skyrim 2,
whatever.
right?
Fallout 5, Skyrim 2. No, I was looking it up. It's gonna be oh shoot, I just forgot it.
Ellsworth?
The forests there.
Oh, the Bosmer place, right?
Yes.
'Cause I guess outside of Arena, that's never been done.
Daggerfall? Is that the one you're thinking of?
No. It's
Oh,
gonna be
Daggerfall had its own.
Did it?
Valenwood. That's what
Valenwood.
people are thinking.
I was saying,
Valenwood, I think, would make sense too. It'd be a cool location.
with the arms race of people swinging their
I-
big old dicks on how big their maps are, I'm surprised they didn't just do a whole
An
Tamriel.
Arena again.
Yeah, arena
Yeah.
again.
Arena again.
Yeah, I know. I think I know what rumors you mean. Where it was like it's Valenwood and like it borders Elsewhere, so you get the Khajiit
Yep.
and the elves, and you get the
Yep.
plains to forest stuff. Yeah.
Because they did all the other ones so far. They did the Argonians, they did the Daggerfall, which was the Red Guard, and then they did the Nords.
And then they did Arena,
Imperial.
which was a procedurally generated everybody's.
Yeah, what a game. And so last of our PC news here is randomly Stalker 2 was announced. of
Yeah.
all things.
Yeah,
To
do we know anything
to-
about it other
To
than
zero fanfare. They just shitted it. They're just like guystalker2.com.
Just
Hey.
exists now.
somebody might care? Hold on.
I mean, it's not that nobody cares. It's just like they just tweeted like stalker2.com.
I know exactly who cares. Give me 1 second to go into games at Liner. www.stalker2.com.
I really liked
And, like-
Stalker 1. It was
it
one
is
of the few games I played through all the way. One of the few shooters I played through all the way. I was actually really impressed by it at the time. The whole shooter RPG thing. I feel
Janky as
they did
hell,
it
but
really
there's
well.
something about it.
was janky, yeah. But the whole
Something
I think the mechanics felt right. Like you had to like scavenge for items and stuff, but
Mhm.
nothing was overpowered, and you just shot people easily
And
enough.
like the bullet and like the gunplay felt like semi-real.
Right, like it didn't have the Borderlands
like
problem of everything living forever. You know, like I don't think it was
Yeah.
like true health. You know, it's more like a shooter with.
And and then there was like the
Inventory
cool
management.
stuff like, oh, there's like weird anomalies navigate and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
the
But yeah, it
anomalies
was-
were really cool, and then some of the like psychic monstrosity things were
Yeah.
really spooky.
And also
was a
seeing
cool
stuff
game.
like bullets bouncing off of like armored creatures was cool.
Yeah, I liked it, and then the
Yeah,
end.
they're cool
was,
games. It was super weird to just see stalker2.com just show up, and it's like the webpage is literally just Stalker2 2021 on a background, and this being so close to E3, it's like, oh, this is 1,000% fake.
Is that supposed to say 2021? I was like,
Yes.
what does 2021 mean? That's not a date.
That's not a date.
Yeah, so it was just
Yeah.
like it's like
Makes
this
sense.
seems fake and dumb, but then like the head of the revived GSC Game Studios is like, no, it's actually a real thing.
Why would you announce this vague this far in advance? This is
Fucking, I don't know.
Their company is weird.
Yeah, it
just
like
never-
vanished for a bit,
Yeah,
and it resurfaced.
yeah. They closed shortly after Call of Pripyat came out, which was their third
Mhm.
title, and then randomly, like it says in this article, in 2015 they sprung to life. Literally, like
It Cossacks
came into
3.
existence, and they made a game, and
They
now
made
they're making
Cossacks
this.
3, which is not what I was expecting that studio to make.
So bizarre. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Stalker 1 was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like shooter games sometimes.
I'd like to see a more bigger version of that.
Yeah, I like shooter.
You kind of run into the RPG walls of Stalker pretty quick.
I feel like it was really short.
Once you know they're there. Yeah, they're kind of short.
Kind of nice. The Stalker 1, I kind of appreciated that because it made it easier to sort of like run through it. You know,
there was a really cool mod for one of them that like combines the maps and like factions, cool. And then like you can like spawn in as a random faction.
Mm-hmm.
Like have to play through the game that way.
Right. That does sound cool.
I played that a bit. It's cool, but also like runs into the Stalker problem of like, I just found a good gun and now I don't need anything else.
Yes, I do remember that aspect of the game as well. I found like some sort of AK and I was just like, this is the best gun that ever existed.
Speaking of games that come out to little fanfare,
Stardew Valley finally gets its Vita release date.
PlayStation Vita?
May 22nd. All dozen of you fellow Vita owners will be able to purchase Stardew Valley.
There are literally dozens of us.
Literally dozens.
Do you own a Vita? Really?
Yeah, I do own a Vita.
Oh,
I don't remember. I don't remember why I bought it.
I don't know.
The only person I know who has a Vita is my brother, and he bought it just so that he can stream PS4 games to it while he sits on the toilet.
Like, I think the reason I bought a
Toilet
Vita
gaming
was like primarily Persona 4 Golden and like one other game. And then like I just threw custom firmware on it and started playing weird Japanese games that only got localized into English through their Hong Kong release or whatever and never came west, like Gundam Breakers and like weird dungeon crawlers that are not great because they're too fan servicey. But yeah, Stardew Valley, they've been like talking about how like, yeah, don't worry, it's coming to Vita eventually. Because like until the Switch came out, the Vita was the place indie games went.
Perhaps the most common question I get asked is, when is Stardew Valley coming to PS Vita? I don't believe you for a second.
I don't believe him.
I mean, kind of like the Switch. A lot of people like playing. There's a very vocal community of the Vita who wants indie games on the Vita because they stopped going to Vita once the Switch came out.
The best news about this is if you own it on PS4, then you just get it on Vita. You don't have to buy it again.
Yeah, that's cool.
It sounds like one of those things where it was like, have we tried running it on the Vita? No, why? And then they ran it. They were like, hey, it works pretty much perfectly. All right, just launch it on that as well. Yeah, it's so goofy.
I don't know, it's
such a weird target.
But like, I don't know. I guess they had like a guy, right, poking at it in their free time.
You would think
like, I have no idea how big the studio is.
It's Concerned Ape is one person, right. And all the porting is being done by Chucklefish, and I have no idea how big Chucklefish is, but they are a publisher, so they can hire people to do it. But well, they have a pretty big team because if you look at their Star game,
Starbound.
Thank you.
Oh, right, that whole company thing, right? Okay,
yeah,
that was a fun game.
It is a fun game. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We were going to play the multiplayer version again soon, but I haven't given that a shot. And then we have a couple of FUN-GINEERS that wanted to check that out.
We talked about that on Friday, and then it's only been 3 days. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Oh my god, I did hear about this. I am upset about it. So another piece of news, they are making a Monster Hunter movie.
Mm-hmm.
With the queen of all video game movie adaptations,
Mila Jovovich.
Why? Why are they making this?
So it exists because Paul W.S. Anderson is directing it, who has made 4 of the Resident Evil movies and Mortal Kombat.
There's 6 Resident Evil movies?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they all exist because he's married to Mila Jovovich and he likes looking at her in movies.
It has a budget of $50 million. Whoa, slow down, movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the Resident Evil series has grossed $1 billion, the movies. So, fucking, I don't know, they don't take that much money. $50 million isn't exactly...
How is this possible? Why is any of this? Ugh.
Look, man, I don't know.
I'm just really weirded out by the fact that they're going to try to make a plot out of a Monster Hunter movie. Like those games don't really have a story.
To be fair, there is the Monster Hunter anime, the Monster Hunter Stories, and its accompanying video game.
Let's make it a live-action Western anime. Fantastic.
You know what? I'm taking over this news article because I don't. This is terrible news. You know what movie they are making that I read about today officially? Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something that has nothing to do with video games.
All the originals are back. I think it's even written by the same people.
It has something to do with video games.
I guess.
Isn't
It's a
there
pretty okay Bill and Ted game on the Super Nintendo? I'm sure there must be. I know there's a. I know there's a Wayne, video game. There are a Wayne's World video games and various
video game adventure. I watched someone play this.
All right, hold on, I'm looking it up.
There's definitely like Wayne's World games of varying quality.
Yes.
This is an AVGN, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I played the Wayne's World game on Super Nintendo. It was entertaining.
That's the one where you have the big heads and you like. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. The SNES.
There is an AVGN of Bill and Ted. That's the one I'm thinking of. Fantastic.
And then there's also
oh my god, what is this game?
There's a Wayne's World game on the NES. I think that's also bad.
It's kind of like what's that Mario is Lost sort of game where you have to like go around and get clues. I'm looking at this on the screen now. Yeah, you gotta get clues and talk to the right people. And like each
Jumping
section,
like you're on the goddamn moon.
And each section of history is its own puzzle.
Oh my god, that beautiful black and white actor digitization.
Oh jeez.
Don't have the color palette to make that color, huh?
I must get the money owed to me by Paul Revere.
Holy shit.
I mean, to be fair, this is original Nintendo.
Well,
yes.
So this is.
I know when I'm hacking onto my NES Classic. Holy shit.
But I could tell you that the nerd did not enjoy this game.
What? The angry video game didn't enjoy a video game.
Speaking of AVGN games he liked, did you see his Earthbound video?
His Earthbound video is incredible.
His Earthbound video is actually amazing. It's so good. Go watch it. If you know nothing, regardless of how much you know about Earthbound, watch that video.
Or AVGN. It's worth
he
watching.
goes
really
into
good.
the story on that. It was more of a deep dive than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I mean, like, there's a fair warning. There's some like spoiler stuff all throughout the video, and then there's explicit ending boss spoiler. But like, it kind of doesn't matter because Earthbound's a journey, not the destination kind of game. You need to.
What's great is like once he starts talking about the end, he like totally drops the nerd persona and just becomes James Rolfe talking about movies.
And like all of his best videos are when he's just James Rolfe. Like when he was doing Monster Madness every Halloween.
Those are awesome.
Those were his best videos. Like, watch the Godzilla-thon ones, and like you will love Godzilla by the end of those.
Watch his review of Breaking Bad as somebody who avoided the whole series until now. He just fucking that's a good TV series, and he even's like, man, I avoided it because of the hype, but this thing is a fucking good show.
He did a really good history of like horror movies for I think the first Monster Madness. That's also really good.
Yeah, he does the one where he does all the Frankensteins, all the Hammers, all the Wolfmans, all those, and all of those I watched.
The Hammer Dracula movies are amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Sorry, I was just gonna say we do have one last news article related to video games. Sorry for the going away from Monster Hunter, but I just don't want to give credit to terrible fucking game movies because they just gotta stop making them.
Look, man. Rampage is the highest rated Rotten Tomatoes video game movie. We need better video game movies.
Uh-huh.
There we go. I posted
I feel like it was somehow it shouldn't have been possible to screw up the Assassin's Creed movie.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow they fucked that up pretty bad.
Wait, there was an Assassin's Creed movie?
Yes. Yes. It existed.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 18.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that? Was that posted in the FUN-GINEERS, the Rotten Tomatoes video game movies? and that if
think so.
they're ranked best to worst, and if that movie,
Rampage.
if Rampage stays where it is, it'll be the best video game movie ever rated.
I mean, now I haven't seen Rampage, but I do know that there's like a scene where like the gorilla is like doing the fuck hand signal with like the finger through the other fingers, and like that's pretty all right, I guess.
Mhm.
Oh my god! But yeah, this
I don't
article
know,
is
that like
fantastic.
first person segment in the Doom movie was all right.
I'm gonna just post this.
I would say, yeah, if you cut off the rest of the movie before and after
Fantastic.
that.
I mean, I remember kind of liking the first Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, it was all right.
they were
I didn't
alright.
like it, but it was all right.
Not that it was good, but it was
Apparently,
watchable.
there's a Tekken movie, and it has 0.
Yes.
And
There's a couple of like direct to DVD or like limited release fighting game movies,
my
not
God.
just Tekken. I think there's a
Blood
There's a
Rain
Dead or
2.
Alive one that was pretty good.
yeah, there's a Dead or Alive.
And yeah, you're right. Actually, Mortal Kombat the movie, I guess, would be video game movie. How could that be lower
Yeah.
than Rampage? That was an excellent movie.
Mortal
No?
Kombat Annihilation, the sequel.
No,
has
not the
a-
sequel.
Has a 3%.
Well,
Annihilation is
The problem
very
is,
special.
spoilers, in the first 5 fucking minutes, they kill off Johnny Cage, and then there's no reason to
Yeah.
watch the rest of the movie.
Mortal
my
Kombat's
God,
pretty
I for-
high.
I
34%.
forgot about this Alone in the Dark movie.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this whole list is incredible.
There's a really
Uh,
good nostalgia critic, Alone in the Dark, not to divert more attention to fucking Nostalgia Critic and his whole nonsense that's been happening to Channel Awesome these days, but
Yeah, poor Channel Awesome. Or poor something. I don't know. I haven't
poor
followed it
that whole
well.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a House of the Dead. I'm noticing a trend in that a lot of these movies are like early to mid 2000s.
Yep.
They're all clustered around 2006.
What's hilarious to me is the original Pokemon movie got so low rated, but I remember it being great as a kid.
Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. I forgot about that.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Oh yeah, Double Dragon from '94. That movie is worth watching.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately.
Doom. Did you guys actually see Doom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin owns it
Oh
on
my
DVD.
god. The end of that movie is kind of cool when they do the first person.
Yeah, the first
thing.
person thing.
It's the best
But,
part of the movie.
Everything up to that is so
No.
terrible.
How did the new Tomb Raider get 49? Oh my god. That was the first time I actually considered walking out of a theater.
Yeah. Wait, you,
also
you
from-
hated it?
Yeah, I only saw it
Oh,
because I had a
man.
movie pass and it was free and I was bored and I went and I saw it.
Also from 1994 and
Wow.
totally worth watching because it's terrible is Street Fighter, the movie.
Oh yeah, Street Fighter the movie is great. In that it's not good at all. But there it is, Rampage, #1 video game movie of all time, at 51%. For now.
Until Monster Hunter.
Until Monster Hunter.
Moving on.
Oh, wait, holy
Final-
shit.
Final
Holy
news
shit.
article.
Final
What?
Fantasy Spirits Within has 45%. I wasn't expecting it to be that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was.
Well, I think if you forget that it's Final Fantasy in any way, it's not that bad. It's
Well-
just slow and boring.
That's pretty
But it
easy
is
to
pretty.
do because it has like nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
Oh no,
The game that bankrupted
Esper or
Square
something.
and forced a merger with Enix.
Oh my god, is that what happened?
Yeah, basically,
Oh.
like the development budget for Final Fantasy X, because it was being made with the tech they were using for Spirits Within, like the budget for all that, like basically bankrupted the company and forced a merger with Enix.
I didn't know that. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Well, I
that's
mean-
so sad.
Cool, because they've been putting out good games since, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
just
so
it's
sad.
still it's been long, and they've been Square Enix longer than either company, which is crazy to me.
That is kind of crazy, actually. Yeah.
All right, I'm over this.
Final news article of the FUNCAST episode 9 is that the Supreme Court has lifted ban on esports and sports gambling.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can
And
gamble
Apparently,
again.
like New Jersey was just like, we need to save Atlantic City, so we're just going to allow sports betting in the state.
Right.
And then
Before, it only worked in
there were like 3 states that were grandfathered in, like Nevada, Wyoming, and like somewhere else. I think.
Yeah, Nevada was the big one because it was basically Las
Nevada.
Vegas.
Yeah.
And that's where you can do all your sports gambling and whatever.
But yeah, the New Jersey like wanted to pass this law because in order to help save Atlantic City, and then there was a bunch of like went to like federal court, and there was a bunch of back and forth, and it getting passed around, and they lost a bunch, and then it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's like, yeah, sports betting is legal now, essentially, and so now it's like it's probably not legal in your state because there's just now states have the option to pass a
states have to do it now. Massachusetts even was considering it, so now they're like reevaluating it, especially because they're getting pressure from DraftKings, which is a Massachusetts company. And I don't know what California's deal is. I could see California being against it. Do they have casinos in California? Do they allow them?
Yeah. Well, only on Indian reservations, pretty much, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to me as a Canadian because we've had, just like our provincial lottery, we've had a provincial run sports lottery forever, where you are betting on betting lines, and like all of our sports broadcasts, like basically forever in the bottom ticker, have had the spread on every game. So like, it's weird to me to that like it's been such a weirdly legislated thing in the States for so long.
The analysis that I've seen is that this is going to become more commonplace in apps, and they're going to like try and gamify sports betting, sort of what DraftKings does.
More DraftKings stuff. Great.
And you know, and I think that's going to be interesting because it's going to introduce that sort of betting into games. Even like imagine you're playing Overwatch and you can bet their in-game currency or whatever on the ESL or the Overwatch League, right? Or you're playing League of Legends and you're betting League of Legends currency on who's going to win.
Everything becomes salty bet.
Yep.
Salty bet.
Never
salty bet?
Twitch.tv / you don't know salty bet?
Oh,
man, when this thing blew up a few years ago, it was amazing. It's basically AI controlled characters in New Gen fighting each other, and you can bet on them on the website.
Oh, it uses Twitch now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been on Twitch for years. Let me sign in. Let me see how much I'm sitting on. I haven't played in a while.
And it's just random? It's just a coin flip?
So it used to be literally just random, and like it was just the creator just like threw in a bunch of Mugen characters, and then people made stuff, and then started getting segmented into tiers based on like long-term win rate against each other. But like it's all AI created characters, and like some of the S-tier stuff is like stupid. It's amazing to watch because this
is so weird. I've never heard of this.
You are in for a journey. Just like literally leave it on your second monitor all day full. Like you don't even have to engage with the betting if you don't want to. Just watch it. It's amazing.
So they have different odds because they've run for so long.
And like there are extensions you can run that like track wins and losses and like generate all the betting odds for you, and can just like auto bet.
Yeah.
In your browser, I have 348,000 salt.
Marco
800 on Master Marco.
Yeah, apparently there's 9 million on Marco.
Yeah.
So where are the odds? It doesn't say.
So the odds, the odds,
1 to 22. Holy crap.
You can, and also if you're like a premium member, you get the matchup breakdowns and stuff. So, you know, you have the inside Illuminati knowledge on.
Oh my God. Marco didn't even get hit. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
You should have been, oh my God. When I was watching Salty Bet come into existence, and it was just like, but it was like the Wild West. It was just like, here's just a bunch of random characters, and like, oh, stage I added in the rotation. It's just a hentai stage, and it's just anime tits in the background. So let's get rid of that.
I remember that. It was just
and like seeing characters. It was kind of like watching, you know, when like Twitch Plays Pokemon took off. It was like that sort of thing, and like watching a community evolve, and like the meme,
right.
Like, watching Ronald McDonald rise to prominence, Dark Ronald, and
so is this real money?
No.
Oh, okay, but
it's all be. Yeah.
Well, so it will be.
Since they passed that law.
Yeah,
could be.
That's crazy. Yeah. I was thinking this is a lot of money if it's real money. That's
Salty Bet's really cool. This is where the like don't bet, always, sometimes, maybe never bet on DBZ comes from. If you that anywhere. Because most Dragon Ball Z characters in New Gen are terrible. Yeah, Salty Bet's cool, and I hope everything becomes Salty Bet.
Wow. So yeah, I think that'd be interesting though. Well, it's scary if this is raising real money, but Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
look, if they want to convert dollar to dollar my Salty Bet wallet to real money with some venture capital funding, I'm all for it.
so the scary thing with this stuff, in that other people always bring up, is when you start introducing it in apps and the accessibility increases, you increase the chance of kids being able to bet money, and then kids are really bad at betting money because they're betting their parents' money, and then
and they have no concept of.
And you don't want this
means.
to get into a system of getting kids hooked on gambling or whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway.
especially like less so the sports betting part and more the esports stuff, like betting on like a Fortnite league or whatever.
Yeah, imagine Fortnite's just like, hey, we could put in money right now. You take a small cut and you just start betting on who's gonna win.
Oh my god!
Wow, that guy got wrecked.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm just spacing out and watching this now.
Yeah,
I know. It's like watching Auto Quest or whatever it's called.
I feel like once a year I get way back in Salty Bet and just leave it on my second. Like if you have a spare monitor or TV in your house that's just doing nothing all day, just fucking put Salty Bet on it. Just have it going in the background all day. It's great.
Wow, this guy is getting wrecked. Oh my god.
Anyways,
is it always so one-sided like that?
No.
Wow.
And like again, as the characters win and lose, they eventually move up. They move up and down tiers. Thing.
I was say we could wrap up the show and then everybody could just go watch Salty Bet.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, this is our 2-hour mark pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I gotta go put the garbage out. And I gotta go.
Really cool though. Thank you, Discount and Burnout, for joining.
You're welcome.
You are
us on this wonderful journey of inner peace and discussion.
Shit, a waifu fight.
And I will the Earthbound background, so weird. We'll see you later for FUNCAST 10, which is next week. So hopefully
$900 on Krishuna.
We'll do something exciting for that. But until then, goodbye.
Go watch saltybet.com.
Go watch Salty Bet. Become a degenerate gambler like I am.